Okay.
Okay. Drew's the career leader in wrestling wins at Mediapolis for one season. Is that true?
One season, yeah.
One season. Okay. When you get in the middle of that circle, it's just one human against another, pitting their strategy, strength, and technique. Which is your strongest weapon?
My technique probably is.
Technique.
I'm not the strongest guy out there, so you got to use a lot of that technique and that speed with it.
Former Iowa wrestling coach Dan Gable once said, "Once you've wrestled, everything else in life is easy." Do you agree with that?
There's some tough things out there, but I've yet to face them compared to wrestling. I mean, wrestling you got the mental and physical aspect of it, and nothing has touched that yet.
Right. Do you want to continue wrestling in college?
That's my plans. I mean, I've narrowed down my search to 2 schools, UNI and Northern Illinois. And in the next couple of weeks, I plan to make my decision.
What's the most important, the school or the coach?
Or
the program?
I'm going for the education first, and then, a program can be a building thing,
Right.
So really, it's how well I click with the coaches and the guys that I've been wrestling with for 5 years.
What's the most important thing you've learned from your current coach?
Dan, he's been bringing a fun environment into Mediapolis. He keeps us entertained, keeps us having fun.
What's the hardest part of wrestling?
Cutting weight is probably by far the hardest.
Yeah.
Just having to suffer through those meals, and during wrestling season, you got the 2 major holidays where you're eating with Thanksgiving and Christmas. So that makes those meals pretty tough. But once you get your weight down, it gets pretty easy, and then it's just staying at it, staying on task with it.
Iowa coach Doug Brenneman said that the key to team unity is gut-busting workouts. Do you agree?
Oh yeah, with wrestling in general, there's just respect with all the wrestlers around. Because everyone's going through it. It's not like with other sports where some guys slack off and they still go through it. Everyone has to go hard to get to where they want to be. So there's that respect level.
Once the season started, what's the hardest part of the season?
The hardest stretch?
Yeah.
The final stretch is probably the hardest because then, you got win, you move on, lose, you're done with sectionals districts. But our hardest competition was going up to Minnesota at the Clash. That was good for us.
So the trip to Minnesota helped you once you got to state?
Oh yeah, it's just getting different type of wrestlers. In Southeast Iowa, you got the same type of wrestlers, and going up to Minnesota, you're venturing out, getting different styles you're wrestling against, and they're by far tougher competition. So it was good for the whole team.
So do you have a favorite move or go-to move?
My favorite move is the straight jacket. It's where you get their arms, you do this, and you turn them over to their back for the fin.
Is that easier against Iowa wrestlers, or did you try that in Minnesota?
I got it once in Minnesota against a California kid, but I got it quite a bit here in Iowa.
Do you study your opponents? Do you find out if they have a favorite move?
When it came to districts and state finals and stuff like that, we had film so we could watch, but we don't really study them too much.
So do you learn more in a win or a loss?
Probably a loss. Because in a loss you're looking at what you did wrong,
right?
And when you're losing with that, it makes it more obvious. Where when you're winning, you don't really look for that.
Do you learn moves from your opponents that you use?
Sometimes, but for the most part, everyone has their same moves, and everyone gets knocked out.
Wrestling depends a lot on individual accomplishments. So is the team more important, or is it?
Well, there's a time for team and a time for individual. It's a team race until you get to individual state. The last few days of state wrestling, that's when it's individual, where you're concerned about yourself, when you want to win for you. The team will just fall into place after that. This year, we're going for a state title as individuals. It didn't work out, but we were wrestling for ourselves before the team there, and then it just fell in place.
there anything specific that happened on the mat that you use for motivation?
Not really. I just got to enjoy myself.
Does the discipline you learned in wrestling help you in other areas of your life?
Oh yeah, I mean, just from wrestling, you learn to be disciplined about your weight, with not eating something or eating something that you don't want to eat type deal. But in the classroom, I mean, it applies. You got to be disciplined, do your homework. You got to be able to balance wrestling and school at the same time.
We're probably getting drowned out by the sound.
You need to move somewhere else, or?
Might have to. Do you have any more questions for him? Or?
No, that's not all of them.
Okay.
Well, one more. Often you hear coaches talk about being mentally strong. Do you think the mental aspect is more important than the physical aspect, or?
Yeah, I mean, your body, there's a certain point in your body you just want to quit, you just want to stop working out at practice, towards the end of practice. You got to be able to push through it mentally, push your body past it. And our coach called it the breaking point, and you should be good from there once you get past that.